So, dream vlog. I have two dreams. One was from last Friday and one was from last night. So, I'll start the one from last night so I don't forget it because for some reason I remember last Friday's really well. So, last night I had a dream that I was like at some resort. I was on a beach. It was related to a church function. And there was a guy in a wheelchair. The guy in the wheelchair, looking back on it, looked very much like the stepfather of one of my best friends growing up, my male best friend growing up. But he was in a wheelchair, light skinned, probably about 6'5", probably almost near 300 pounds, big afro, big bushy mustache. In the dream, he was the age that he was when I last saw him, probably about 38 or something. And I was like 40s, right? But my heart and spirit was like a child. And I had on the style of dress that I used to wear back in the day, just little light flowy dress, feminine type thing. And I am feminine, it's just my lifestyle is different. That's why I look like this. But we went out the back door of the resort. I was holding his wheelchair and I was pushing him out, but there wasn't really like a ramp or anything, but it just seemed normal. It was just sand. I was pushing him out onto the sand. It was a beach, right? It was me, him, another church lady, and another church lady. So we got to a place that wasn't far from the back exit, and we were sitting there, and then there's this elder at this church that I think is a snake, like a real true snake. He gives snakes a bad name. Real snakes a bad name. But he came up and sat beside the guy in the wheelchair that was beside me, right? And he started saying some really snakish stuff. So I was mumbling to the lady beside me, do you hear what he's saying? And she just kind of shook her head like, yeah, right? And then I don't know how it happened. Either the snake guy pushed him out of the wheelchair or something. So I got up and I was trying to help him back into the wheelchair. And I must have shrunk. I went to get a physical. I'm only like 5'3" now. What? That's what they say. But maybe because my hair is braided down. But speaking of which, I'm hot. I'm about to take this hoodie down or something. But and be wary about to see the hair. But so what ends up happening is, hot. Okay, so what ends up happening is, I'm in this flowy dress and I'm trying to pick this man up. And I think initially he was in like a full suit. And then he was like just in some linen pants and a shirt. And then I was trying to pick him up, but somehow he ended up being completely undressed. I was trying to hold him up and he fell out of my arms onto the ground. And I was like, somebody help me. This guy is huge. I can't pick him up, And he was just like limbs everywhere. And so in the process of me trying to lift him up, my whole dress flew up. And not only did it fly all the way up, eventually it just flew off and me struggling trying to pick this guy up. And so then I don't know how it happened. Eventually I got some help or something, or at least I got him off of me, and he was just like dead weight. And I didn't have any clothes on, but when I looked down, there were like a couple of pair of thong panties. One was like silk and lace, but it had like maybe a little red cross or a little black symbol, some kind of little cute symbol on the front that meant aid, right? And then there was another one that was straight, like just white string. And I was like, okay, so I put on the thong one because it covered up more. And I got up, and that was the end of the dream. Now, the first dream was last Friday. And I haven't had like a prophetic series of dreams in so long. And it's like consistently every week, right? Last night was after church. Last Friday was the day before church. So last Friday's dream, it was like a huge Coliseum, like the Hampton Coliseum growing up. And when I was little, in the dream, my feeling was somewhere, my age range was somewhere between 14 to 20. I had on, again, all white. I don't remember if it was just some type of fine material. I don't know if it was lacy or silky, but it was like fine material. And there was a group of us that was walking across, I guess you could call it the Coliseum stage, but it wasn't really stage. It was just across the mezzanine floor. And it was like some type of ceremony, right? And with the procession that was going on, there was a group, we were coming from behind these bleachers and walking across the front to the mezzanine area and walking across the mezzanine and back through the other door. There was a like a little break, like probably about 5 feet between me and the person in front of me. We were all kind of scurrying and trying to stay together and move quickly. But there was a whole group of senior citizens that came through the side door right through our path, right? And they kind of broke the chain, and I kind of stepped back and let them go in front of me, right? Because they're senior citizens, I'm not going to bum, So I let them go in front of me, and I still tried to keep up with my group. And once I got up with my group, I was like the last, maybe one or two of us behind the senior citizens. Again, resort area. We went, the other door led out, and you could take a right, and it led into like this big resort area, lounge area that looked out onto the beach. I was talking to this woman, and it was kind of like fellowshipy talk, I don't remember what was exactly said. I had something in my hand, but in the dream, I had on this all white dress, short sleeve, kind of flowy, and, kind of like mid-calf length. And I had something in my hand, and I had on an adult pamper under the dress, right? The pink adult pamper. And then all of a sudden, like, I got to where the lady was at a stopping point, and all of a sudden I just jumped up with whatever I had in my hand and ran out the big glass aquarium like door in the back, which was right there, because the couches we were sitting in, bar we were talking at was right there. And there was like this huge ocean, and I just jumped into it, clothes and all, adult pampers, clothes and all. And the water was just ebbing back and forth. And it was turquoise blue, kind of like the rocket pops we had when we were little. And there was like little strings of seaweed in it. And then first I was out there all by myself, and the water, even though it was right at the shore, it was very voluminous, right? And it was very voluminous and very kind of thick, like if one of those turquoise pops melted, that kind of consistency. And then after just a little bit of time, it was like somehow it wasn't very far from me, but like maybe, in the next little ebbing of the tide, there was a whole group of people just kind of floating, on their back, black, white, Spanish, all different races, Asian. And the first thing I came across was like this Aztec looking lady, bikini. She was in a bikini, dark hair, white bikini with like brown branches, look like brown branches on it. And she had a dog, and the dog was the first thing I encountered. And then when I encountered the dog, I encountered the rest. And then one of the ladies who was non-black, but creamy skin color, non-white either, her boyfriend, who was black, was kind of drifting all the way out. And I was like, hey, your boyfriend's drifting all the way out, right? And so she called him back in, and we were all just drifting. And the first impression that I got of that dream was kind of like the rapture or something. Maybe, because at first I couldn't make it out real good. I was like, okay, I don't know if somebody's going to die, or if I'm, saying that I'm part of the elite and I'm going to be taken up to heaven, which I guess if you think about rapture, look at this. This thing says reflection of love, and it shows him carrying the cross. Oh, he has a cross on the back. This is so cool. Oh, Jehovah the Lord will provide. Oh, I like, and his verse is Jehovah the Lord will provide, Genesis 22:14. Oh, I like this. This is so good. This is so good. But you know, living this lifestyle is almost like carrying a cross on my back. When I was lugging the stuff, I had that big cart lugging it back and forth. That was carrying the cross. It says, whoever shall call upon the Lord shall be saved. Why? Because Jesus loves you. And then he got John 3:16-17 on there. Oh, and his cross says Jesus loves you too. I feel like I'm at a museum. What if he just walks out and I'm like gawking at his van? That's pretty cool. I like that. And there's a Jeep too with a bike on it. They're probably all together. That's nice. Very, very, very nice. I like that. And I like the colors too. It's like beige and brown and black and cream. So anyhow, what was I saying? Oh, what I thought the dream meant. So what I'm thinking the dream mean now after restating it is probably because I saw something about how, or heard something, there's a radio station like 3ABN. It's WAFT in Valdosta, but that particular radio station, they were saying how basically, you know, just like in the time of Noah, mosquitoes bite me through my tights. Yo. In the time of Noah, like all of the good people that were going to be taken up, I guess were already dead or God had already took them, right? But that's what they were saying. I don't know if it's true or not. And I'm actually reading the whole Bible. I read Genesis, Exodus, and Leviticus. I haven't had a chance to do Numbers. It's like I can't. It gets shaken up shaken up meaning I have to go through this transition every time. But don't mind my teeth. I did not brush my teeth today or yesterday. But I have different phases. I'm out like single day out. But and I can't really explain it in detail for my protection and safety. But anyhow, so the premise that they had, and I don't know if it's true because I don't think I read that in the Bible, was that, you know, all the good people were going to be taken before God destroyed, you know, everything. And Noah, but because that doesn't really make sense, because Noah was the only good one. So how could they take everybody else? Unless he's meaning just for being saved. But in that case, in that dream, what it kind of means to me was that what it meant to me initially was that I was going before judgment when I walked across the stage or whatever, and I made it, and I was in a waiting area for God to say, "Come on, it's your turn." And then I guess when I jumped up, I ran and jumped into the water, it was my turn. Now the second dream that I had, I think that's about the snake guy. That's about something that's currently happening. So, yeah. But I get a lot of that where it has to be somebody present to overhear. And like I said, the churches, my goodness. But anyhow, I'm at point A, and I got a point B, C, D, E, F, and G to go to today. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. But I wanted to log that dream.